4 years. That's how long this took. It all kicked off on January 30th, 2021, with a goal that sounds simple but is anything but: survive. This is hardcore Minecraft, the most unforgiving mode there is, where a single death erases everything. But SB737 did not just survive, he built an empire. And like any great story, this one had to have had a final chapter. On day 10,000, this world, a project that ate up 4 years of his life, was scheduled for deletion. This is the story of how SB achieved the impossible, mastered the game, and then chose to say goodbye on his own terms. It all starts the same way, doesn't it? You punch a tree, you craft a pickaxe, you dig a big dirt hole to hide from the monsters. But for SB737, every shadow held a little more weight because of that constant, nagging threat of permanent death. He said these first 500 days were his favorite, a time of pure, back-to-basics Minecraft before the giant projects took over. Securing food, finding a safe place to sleep, carefully digging for those first few diamonds. It's a simple start that seems almost unrecognizable compared to the world he would eventually command. But that patient foundation was everything. There's a turning point in every hardcore world where the fear fades and the power trip begins. It's when you stop reacting to the world and start making the world react to you. For SB, that moment was all about automation. He went from just getting by to truly thriving by building massive, brilliant farms. It started with the essentials, like iron farms for an endless supply of metal and gunpowder, farms to fuel his elytra. But things escalated fast. He built a gas farm floating in the nether, drained an entire ocean monument for a guardian farm, and took over a fortress for a wither skeleton farm. Each one was a ridiculous feat of engineering. This wasn't just about getting resources anymore. This was about dominance. With unlimited iron, gold, and XP, the only thing holding him back was his own imagination. This was the Industrial Revolution that powered his 10,000 day legacy. Once survival was basically guaranteed, SB set his sights on projects that most players wouldn't even dream of. His world turned into a showcase of insane achievements. He didn't just build a beacon, he built a mega beacon out of hundreds of smaller ones. He didn't just build a house, he built the world's largest mansion, a sprawling complex made of over 100,000 blocks. At one point, he built a giant floating planet in the sky with continents and oceans just because he could. One of his biggest goals was to collect every single block in the game, a challenge that is just as insane as it sounds. To manage all this loot, he built a colossal, multi-level storage system that could hold everything. And toward the end, as a kind of final boss of building, he constructed giant statues of every single mob in Minecraft, from the chicken all the way to the Ender Dragon. These weren't just builds, they were monuments to his dedication, turning the world into a museum of his journey. Let's be real. You don't survive 10,000 days with skill alone. You need a serious amount of luck. And SB's was tested again and again. He had so many close calls that could have ended the series instantly. There were the terrifying sprints through ancient cities, with a warden's sonic boom just one shot away from ending it all. He had heart-stopping moments in bastions, swarmed by piglin brutes, and knocked down to half a heart before landing in a life-saving block clutch. He fell into the void and flew out with seconds to spare. He got trapped in lava because he thought he had his elytra on. He got cornered by creepers more times than you can count. Every one of these moments is a brutal reminder of how thin the line is between continuing the series and losing thousands of hours of work forever. After the dust settled, what was left was a massive, beautiful crater full of memories. SB spent his final hours taking a grand tour of the world he created. He flew by the Technoblade Memorial, soared over the farms that powered his ambition, and walked through the empty halls of his giant mansion. It was a final goodbye to a project that took 4 years of his life. And in his last video, he explained why he did it. He wanted to offer the perfect world download to his fans, saved right before the nuke went off, so they could explore it and continue the legacy themselves. Beginning this time, on the 10,000th day, with absolutely nothing left to prove, SB737 stood on the edge of a platform and waited. He took one last look at the world he had poured so much of his life into, and then he jumped into the void. This wasn't a death, it was a conclusion. The screen faded to black, and 2 words appeared. Game over. Quiet, deliberate, perfect end to one of the most legendary series in Minecraft history. The world itself might be gone, but its legacy is here to stay. SB737's 10,000-day run showed an entire community what was possible with enough time and passion. And by giving away the world download, he handed the keys to his kingdom over to his fans, letting them walk through his history, learn from his creations, and maybe even start their own adventures. It's the ultimate proof that even in a game that never ends, you can still create your own perfect, unforgettable finale.